learning more about what led to the arrest of 4 people connected to the killing of Kyesha Miller.
She's the 15-year-old girl who was shot outside of the Harmony Apartments on Madison's east side in October. WMTV's Marcus Ars will look through the criminal complaint filed today after 3 of the suspects made their initial appearance in court and is here to explain 2 big takeaways. Marcus.
The complaint on the 4 is 15 pages long, detailing the timeline and injuries, but it also shows the Madison Police Department identified the 4 suspects in part through an anonymous tip and DNA evidence. According to the criminal complaint, officials found the abandoned car they believed was used to drive the suspects to the apartment complex where Miller was shot. Police swabbed the car and found DNA evidence to support that Donovan Douglas, Wilson Clark, Javian White, and Reginald Sexton were involved in the shooting. An anonymous tip helped police learn that White was the one driving the car. His bail is set at $750,000. Clark and Douglas's bails are both set at $1 million, and Douglas also faces multiple drug and gun charges.
But obviously there's significant community safety concerns, there's community consistent flight concerns. That's the least amount of bail appropriate.
The 4th suspect is booked in the Dane County jail. All 4 are facing homicide charges as a party to a crime, in addition to multiple charges of attempted homicide and endangering safety. Live in the studio, Marcus Arsville, WMTV 15 News.